My name is Linda Kamara and you're on Crime Stories with Linda. So today we're going to talk about the case of Laci Peterson and how the case turned out and how everything involved in this case. We're going to look at the controversies and everything involved in this case. So let's just dive into it. This case involves a picture perfect couple, so a couple that people felt were perfect, but on the beneath the surface, it was something sinister was really happening. So, in the case, the way the case unraveled surprised a lot of people, family members, friends. So let's just dive into it and talk about the how the whole thing turned out. So Lacey was born on May 4th, 1975, and she was the youngest of two children. So growing up, she was known to be a very good girl. She laughs so much. She laughs so much. She plays. She was known to be very jovial, very kind. So and she likes sports. She she was just going like a normal girl. She was very good. So but while growing up, her parents, her mom and her dad, they got a divorce when she was very young. So she was just alternating between their homes. They both trained her, but she was mainly with her mom, but her dad also, they were close, they were a close knit family. So she had that love from both parents, and she grew up to be a very beautiful, wholesome young lady. The husband in this case, Scott Peterson, was born on 24th of October 1975. So he grew up privileged. He was the only child of both both his parents, even though the parents they had had children from different relationships before they came together, but he was the only child they had together. So he grew up as a privileged young boy, and he started working at a restaurant as a waiter. That was where Lacey met him. So the day that Lacey met him, she came home and was telling the mom that she has seen the man that she's going to marry. So that day she just walked up to him and gave him his number. She was just so smitten with him, and she gave him his number. And when he later connected to eventually called her, both of them, their relationship blossomed into a very romantic, wholesome relationship that a lot of people were so happy for them. So in 1997 they both got married. So when they got married, they were they were just happy. They were very picture perfect. People felt they were so happy and that they didn't have any care in the world. They bought a home and they were living a very cozy neighborhood in Modesto, California. So they were having a very wonderful marriage, and also they thought they were having a wonderful marriage, or so people thought. So they seemed very good, and during their marriage they were trying to start a family, they were trying to have a child, but they could not have a child in that early part of their marriage. But eventually, as they were already thinking of how to start a fertility treatment, Tracy took in. Tracy took in around May of 2002. So they were so happy when they got the result that she's pregnant. So they were already preparing their nursery. So happy. So Lacey was already counting down to when she would get to meet her child. And when they found out that it was going to be a boy, they were so happy, and they named him Connor, even though they've not the kid has not given birth to him yet. So they named Connor, and they were both happy. So on December 24th of 2002, Scott came back from Marina, where he went to fish. And when he got home, he found out that Lacey was not at home, because when he was leaving in the morning, according to him, he said that Tracy said she was going to clean their house and take the dog out for a walk, and maybe come back home and do other things. But when he came back home, They just saw the dog at the backyard and just came into the house, went in and had his bath. And when he came out, he looked around. He couldn't find Laci, so he called Laci's stepfather, Ron, Rongransky. So when he called Ron and told him that he has not seen Laci since he came back, and that when he left in the morning during the day that he had called her severally and she didn't pick, so he left messages on her answering machine, so that he has not been able to talk to her since he left, and he has not seen him since he came back from fishing. So they were asking her parents whether they have seen her, but they told him that they have not seen her, that since that they saw her last day before, that they've not seen her today, being that 24th December. So Scott was just looking for her rather. Then Ron called the police and told the police that his stepdaughter is missing, that they have not seen her since she went out to walk the dog. That they in fact they've not seen her since morning after when the husband left for where he went to fish. So that they've not seen her. So the police came. They went around the neighborhood. They were looking for her, calling her name. A lot of people, even family and friends, they all volunteers, they all came around, and people were just looking for her. The next day, people printed flyers, they were distributing flyers. Even her family held press conference, and they were begging that if you had seen Laci Peterson, that you should call this number. The people were looking for her. She was loved, and she's a pregnant woman. She's 8 months pregnant. So people were looking for her all over the place. People were so bothered. Her family was really bothered. So they were looking for her everywhere. So the police, everybody was just looking for this lady, and she was nowhere to be found. So throughout that December, even as they were doing all of that, Scott, who does not seem to be bothered, Scott, her husband, does not. He was so calm. He didn't look like someone that the wife was missing. So the police were looking at him, but he didn't know now. But you know that when something like this happens, police first of all looks at the spouse. So they were looking at him, but they didn't really have any solid thing to hold him with. They didn't have anything to like say, this is what he did or something. That he's calm or not interested in looking for his wife does not really make him a murderer or something like that. So the police were just looking at him, but they didn't have any solid thing to like take him in. So, but the whole thing changed on January 24th. That's a month after Tracy went missing. A lady by the name of Amber Fry came out and said that she just found out from the news and the media that the person that the missing woman's husband, that she has been dating this missing woman's husband, that's Scott. She has been dating Scott since early December, late November, early December, that she had been dating him. So that she didn't know, and that around that early December, that Scott told her that his wife died, and this Christmas is the first Christmas that she's going to spend alone without his wife. So I think that she didn't understand what is happening, because this person told her that the wife is already dead. So this made a lot of people very, very, very suspicious, because everything happening was on the media. Media was so much involved in this case. Everybody knows about this case. Even as I'm talking about it, when I decided to do this case, I know that a lot of people will be like, this case it's common. We already know everything that happened in this case. But I just said, let me do this case, because I know that a lot of people, as we have heard about it, maybe some people have not heard about it too. So during that 2002, 2003, a lot of media was so much involved in this case. So the Amber was telling them that she has been romantically involved with Scott since early December, and that Scott told her in early December that the wife is late, and that this is his first Christmas alone. So the police started putting one and two together, and started feeling that maybe Scott knows more than he's telling the police. So after this interview, Scott was called in, and during the questioning, they were asking what happened. He said the wife knew that he was dating Amber Fry, that there was nothing, that he didn't hide it from his wife, that you just did not tell Amber that he had a wife, so that he doesn't know what they are talking about, that his wife knew that he was dating Amber, but the police were suspicious of him, and with the way he was acting and everything, and the accounts that he was giving on that day, that 24th of December, was not really tallying. So the police were already like getting set that this guy is the perpetrator, or in this case. But then they told Amber that they want to like record her calls with Scott. After questioning Scott, even during the questioning, they suggested that they want to use a lie detector for Scott, but Scott refused, that he doesn't want to be subjected to this lie detector machine, that the lie detector could be wrong, or could read something that he didn't do as something that he did, that he doesn't want to go through this lie detector testing. And this made a lot of people more suspicious of him, because he refused this lie detector, and even made the police more suspicious that he's involved in this murder. So Amber, when they told Amber that they want to record Scott's call, Amber agreed. So on the day they were having a vigil for Laci, Scott was heard on the phone telling Amber that he's in Paris, that he's close to the Eiffel Tower, that this place is so beautiful. During his wife's vigil, that people were around, like crying and like holding candles and praying for Laci's safe return. Scott was busily making call and telling Amber different romantic nonsense that police were hearing. We are hearing and recording, and he didn't know that the call was being recorded. So he was just free. He was just saying different, all manner of things. And from the calls that they were recording, they found out that Scott is very manipulative and he lies a lot. So the police were just really like actively investigating Scott, and monitoring his movements. April 13th of 2003, the couple walking along the Marina found a baby that was still tied with the umbilical cord. They found him along the bank of that marina. They found a baby's body, dead body, and immediately they alerted the police, and the police came and took the body of the baby. And a day after that day that they found out the body of the baby, they found the torso of a pregnant woman, and that's wearing a maternity cloth. So when they found the body, they confirmed through DNA test that this is the body of Laci Peterson, and the boy's body is the body of Connor. So the police, seeing that body and everything, and seeing it at that exact spot that Scott said that he went to fish, this felt like they have solved the case. So immediately Scott was arrested and taken into police custody. He was charged to court, and during the trial of this murder, the prosecutor was saying that Scott just his motive was just that he wants to come out of that marriage, that he's looking for freedom, he's looking for escape, he doesn't want to be a father, because he told Amber that he doesn't want to be a father. So when they started dating, that he doesn't want to be a father. So they felt that that was his motive, that he doesn't want to be a father, he doesn't want to continue being in the same relationship with Laci. That was why he killed his wife. So, but there was no murder weapon, there was no fingerprints, there was no really any there was no really strong evidence tying Scott to this case, apart from circumstantial evidence of Scott dating Amber Fry, and so the body being found at the place that he said he went to fish, and all the lies that he has been telling since they started investigating the case. That was what was the main circumstantial evidence that they had for this case. So the defense were saying that it's because of the so much media attention on this case, that even before they started the trial, that he already knew, that they knew that even the jury involved, that they already branded Scott a murderer. The media had branded him a murderer, so everybody is already biased on the case. So that the case that is more basically circumstantial evidence that is tying Scott to this case, and that the dog, because the dog was found wandering on that day of 24th of December. The dog was found wandering. A neighbor had to bring the dog back home, and when he brought the dog home, there was nobody at home. Scott was not home, and Laci was not home. That how would the dog be walking and wandering around the neighborhood if Laci had not gone for that walk? If Laci had not taken the dog for a walk, that Laci had taken the dog for a walk, that was why the dog was found wandering the neighborhood with his leash still attached to his neck. So that dog Mackenzie that he was wandering the neighborhood was a strong evidence showing that Laci left the house, because the prosecutor was saying that Laci did not leave the house, that is either Scott murdered Laci on that day, on that 24th of December, and went almost that he is going to fish, so he took her body and disposed her on that Berkeley Marina, or that Scott just took her to that Berkeley Marina and maybe killed her there and disposed of her body. So, but the defense was saying that because the dog was found with his leash wandering around the neighborhood, that was an evidence to show that Laci actually left the house and went to walk the dog, and possibly maybe she was kidnapped and killed, and disposed. Her body was disposed on that marina. So there was a lot of back and forth. The defense continues saying that, and moreover, a lot of people, like 4 or 5 people, the witnesses were saying that they saw Laci that morning. Different people that doesn't know themselves in different places say that they saw a pregnant woman walking her dog. A pregnant woman that matched the description of Laci Peterson was walking her dog on that in that area. So in fact, a lot of back and forth. The prosecutor continued saying that Scott was the main culprit. That Scott is the person that committed this murder. So when the jury went to deliberate, they deliberated for some time, and when they came back with a guilty verdict, and Scott was sentenced to death. He was sentenced to death with lethal injection. Everybody felt that justice was served. So Scott sat in prison in death row for 15 years. So, and in 2020, it was his death sentence was reverted to life in prison without parole, without the possibility of parole. Then in 2021, it was brought to light that one of the jurors then that she had a domestic abuse case, as in that she had a domestic abuse case around that time that that thing happened, around 2001, 2002, that she was pregnant at that, and she was pregnant during their abuse. She was abused by her partner, so that she being among the jurors, that was during juror number 7, so that she being among the jury was already biased by being a victim of domestic violence when she was pregnant, so that it should not her contribution to the jury something is very biased. So after that, in that 2021, I think that was when the Scott's verdict was upheld. They still upheld his lifetime sentence, that he's still sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. And the defense continued saying that even on during that 2002, that there was a robbery on that street, of that Laci and Scott were staying, that there was a robbery, that it's possible that the robbers, one of the robbers, or maybe as Laci was passing, walking her dog, and maybe she came across those people robbing, and maybe she was kidnapped by those robbers and killed. But those robbers were arrested in 2000, that same 2002, and those robbers argued that they did not have anything to do with Laci's death, and that in fact that they did not even rob on that 24th, that was on 26th. Then a lot of people were saying that how can they rob on 26th when by 26th of December that a lot of media cars and police cars were in that street, that it's not possible for them to rob on that is the 26th, that it was definitely on the 24th that they committed their robbery. So in fact there was a lot of controversy in this case. Even though that Scott is still serving his sentence, a lot of critics were saying that is it possible being a bad husband, does it make someone a murderer? Being a liar, does it make someone a murderer? So people were saying that there was no really strong evidence that is connecting Scott to the case. So a lot of people believe that Scott is innocent, and a lot of people believe that Scott is not innocent. Justice is served. That as he's serving that life sentence, that justice is served. So with all these inconsistencies, with all these things that people are bringing up, the Innocent Project, the LA Innocent Project got involved with the case in 2023, 2024, and they were saying that there was no strong evidence. They were saying the same thing, and that there are new evidence that they found. There is a lot of forensic misleading or something like that, that the case that they are still going to like be involved in that case and try to prove Scott's innocence. So till this date, Scott is still in prison serving out his life sentence. So I don't know what to think. I don't know whether Scott, I don't know what you would think. So let me hear your thoughts on this comment section. Please subscribe, like and subscribe this board. With the whole thing, the way the media was so much involved in the case, I don't know whether their presence already biased a lot of minds in that case, and maybe made the jurors come to a conclusion that Scott is involved. But I don't really know. What are your thoughts? The case is just so controversial. A lot of things are coming up. People they like this thieves, these robbers that came on that same 24th of December to rob on that street. Do you think that those robbers could be involved? Do you think that something else happened? Because the dog was found on the street wandering. Was the dog, as he was outside at their house, wondering who could have opened the door for the dog to come out and wander the streets? So what are your thoughts basically on this case? So let's just hear your thoughts on the comment section, and please try to subscribe to this channel, and we'll be bringing on true crime cases, and we'll talk about it. And if you have any case suggestion, please list them on the comment section and we'll get right on it. Thank you very much for watching, and with that being said, have a wonderful time.